When I proposed to my wife, things didn't go to plan, but that was okay. About a decade ago, we climbed up this mount. It's not a mountain, it's a mount, because here where I live in Western Australia, we don't really have mountains, we have mounts. And this mount was in the Stirling Ranges. It's called Mount Toolbrunup. And about a decade ago, we'd climbed up this mount together, and we'd had some lunch at the top, and it was a beautiful sunny day, and we could see around over the ranges, and it was just a sort of like a perfect moment. And I thought, all right, when I propose, we'll do that again. I'll get to the top of this mount, and I'll get down on one knee, and I'll ask the question, and it'll be perfect. And so came the day that I went to propose, and she wasn't aware that this was coming. We got to the foot of the mount, and we started hiking. And as we were making our way up, these sort of storm clouds came in over the top of us and started to rain a bit. And this climb to the top was quite steep. We got to this rocky section, and Stace, my wife, was slipping, and we were getting tired, and it just seemed like we weren't going to get to the top. And she said to me, "Oh, I just don't think I can go any further." I was like, in my head, I really want to get to the top of this, because that's what we did a decade ago, and that's what I'd like to do now. But respecting the moment, I said, let's just take a seat over here. And we walked off the track a little bit into a bit of a clearing, and we sat down on some rocks, some boulders, and we had a bit of lunch. And it became clear that we weren't going to go any further. And so I was like, well, this is where it's going to happen. And so I got down on one knee, and I said a little line to her that I'd rehearsed. And I won't share it with you today, but it was very sweet, I promise you. And I said this line, and she had a little cry and said yes. And we sat there eating these barbecued nuts, looking out on the view. And even though we were probably only about halfway, 3/4 of the way up this mount, there's this beautiful view out through the forest. And there was clouds in the sky, and it was raining a little bit, but it was soft rain, and there was no wind, so it was falling straight down. And the forest was dead silent. And there was this sense of it was like a painting. It was just such a beautiful moment. And I don't know if we would have had that same experience if we decided to climb to the top of the mount. It could have been just as beautiful, but it was perfect where we were. Right? We didn't need to keep going. And I think about that experience, and I think it's true of a lot of things in life. We are restlessly striving for some ideal, and it may be that we've already achieved it. It may be that we've already got what we need to from that experience. And what we need to do is, rather than keep on pushing, what we need to do is we just need to sit and be present and be appreciative and enjoy what it is we have. In robotics, just to take a bit of a turn here, in robotics there's this idea called the explore exploit dilemma. Now let's say you're a little robot and your job is to find out things about your environment. You have, broadly speaking, two ways of doing that. you can explore to gather data to understand your environment more, or you can exploit that data that you currently have to manipulate the world, right, or to do things. And that divide can be applied to us as human beings. And there's cognitive science now to support this idea. If you look into things like predictive processing, this is kind of sometimes called um, epistemic foraging versus active inference. Please don't worry about that now. Essentially, as human beings, we have to decide whether or not we need to go out and accrue more information to soak up more information about our world, or whether or not we have enough information and we can then use that to do good. Use that information we currently have to do things. I was chatting with a friend of mine about this, and he is a DJ and he loves techno music, and he loves, like, I'm not really that familiar with the scene, but he's like right in it. And he was at this festival, and big name DJ just so happened to be in the crowd next to him, watching a set. And he was like, "Look, I'm sorry, man, sorry to interrupt you, but I just have to say I really appreciate your music." And started talking. And this big name DJ runs courses on how to produce techno music for up and coming artists and people who just love it. And he goes, one of the biggest issues I have with students in my course is that they're constantly looking for more and more sounds. And they believe that techno music is about finding the latest sound, tweaking their synthesizers in such a way that it produces a new and novel sound. So it's that seeking of novelty. And if you listen to his music, it turns out that he doesn't play around with lots of different sounds. Rather, he uses some like fairly bass sounds to create landscapes of music that are familiar to a lot of people, but to him it's not necessarily about the sounds and the landscapes that he's creating, but the experience of those landscapes for the people involved. Right? It's about being mindfully present and aware of the music and the rhythm and how it's affecting you, rather than creating novel sounds. And so apparently he limits himself to a certain number of sounds. And by limiting himself and creating those constraints, he's sort of able to create very unique music. And I think that's sort of what we're getting at here. It's that we don't need more. We actually need to sit back, stop trying to accrue information, stop trying to learn more things, and just see, all right, with what I have available to me now, what happens, right? Set some constraints and just see what happens. And it may be that you don't have enough yet and you have to go out there and you have to learn more. But just as I didn't know that, that spot halfway up the mountain was actually going to be the perfect moment, the perfect spot for creating that beautiful moment that we shared together. I didn't know that. I felt like I needed to get to the top, but I stopped and gave myself the freedom to be in that moment. And it was enough. It was more than enough. Just like that was enough, maybe you are enough right now. Maybe you have enough right now. So give yourself the time to just sit with what you have and see what happens. So anyway, I hope this idea has been helpful for you. I just love it. I find it super interesting. If you found it interesting and helpful, please share it with a friend or someone you think might like to hear it. Maybe you've got someone in your life who you feel is just like restlessly striving for more and more. Maybe this message will be helpful for them. Leave a comment, like the video, or subscribe to the channel for more videos of me talking to you like this. I hope to create a bit of a community here. Anyway, till next time, take care.